Take a look at this, Melanie. We plan on moving to the address documented here. I inherited that property from my late grandparents. You can't do that. Your older brother is entitled to all of that inheritance. We've already hired contractors to start building our new house. Fine, have it your way. But let me tell you that— Yay, she said yes!
Trouble Busters!
My name is Melanie, and I'm currently a project leader for a new series of comics that my company is working on. I rent out a small apartment and live on my own. I'm 28 years old. I don't plan on ever getting married. I'm happy being on my own. Coming! Oh, hey!
I need to talk to you about something.
You could have just called me, you know.
Don't you want to see your brother from time to time? Anyway, I came here to—
What is it? I thought that you said we wouldn't be seeing each other anymore now that Grandpa and Grandma are gone.
That was the plan, but I came here to ask you why you sold our grandparents' house without my permission.
I had a reason for doing so. After Grandpa passed away, I needed to sell the house so that our grandma could live in a retirement home.
A retirement home? How come I'm only hearing about this now? Why didn't you look after her at home? Would have been much cheaper that way. I'm sure Grandma would have been much happier in her own house than in a retirement home. You owe her that. She's the one that raised us both. And it's not only that, you turned one of their properties into a parking lot. I can't believe that you're hoarding all the profits. I had no idea that you were so greedy and selfish.
You have it all wrong. It was their choice to leave the properties to me. I had no say in it.
Why you? Doesn't make any sense. I'm the son of the family.
When Grandma passed away, we didn't know where you were. You went MIA.
You could have tried to find me though.
Do you know that you need money to inherit assets from your family? And even after that, you need to pay taxes on properties and assets. That's why I turned one of the properties into a parking lot. I used the profits to pay taxes.
I don't believe you. I'm bringing my wife here with me next time so that we can sort this all out.
Oh, I didn't know that you were married. Where are you going? I hadn't seen my brother in 13 years, and this was our first conversation after over a decade. We were so indifferent from one another that we didn't get along well. I was upset that he was back in my life. He came over to my apartment unannounced and left when there was nothing left for him to say to me. Having my brother in my life was never good news for me. I'm Mia, Ken's wife, and these are my parents. Nice to meet you. I was trying to be polite to Ken's wife, but I didn't like her from the start. What were you thinking? What are you referring to? Ken tells me that you inherited everything from your grandparents and didn't offer him anything. I don't think that's very fair to Ken at all. You need to hand over the property that you turned into a parking lot to Ken. He's the rightful owner. What do you mean by that? Mia's pregnant with Ken's baby. They need a property to build a spacious house for their growing family. Also, they're going to need our help in taking care of the baby, so we're moving in with them. But that's not—
So we need you to hand over that property to us ASAP.
I just met you and I can't. I inherited the property from my grandparents. The property is mine. I paid all the expenses too. Ken is the son of the family. He's the one that's entitled to all of the inheritance. You have no right taking that away from him, you ugly four eyes. You're single and have no family. You don't even need that property, do you? Take a look at this document. We're building our new house at the address stated here. You can't. This is totally unexpected and I don't know what to say. That property was a gift from my late grandparents, and I have many beautiful memories there, including those of my parents when they were still alive. I want to preserve the building in its original state. I can't have you demolish it and build a new building. And any remaining profits I make from the parking lot, I donate to orphanages because my grandparents love children. Who cares about past memories? You should worry about the future of your nieces and nephews. You have no say in this anyway. The property belongs to Ken.
What's the point of donating money to a bunch of kids that you've never met?
We'll make better use of the property. You're just letting it go to waste. Anyway, we came here to tell you that everything inherited to you belongs to Ken. You're being absurd. You have no right to make this decision.
What is her problem? Why is she making everything so complicated? We've already decided that we're tearing down the existing building and constructing a new home. We don't care if you agree or not.
Tear down? You can't do that. But I wasn't able to stop them and they went ahead with their crazy plan. Ken and Mia were so similar to one another, I could see why they were married. They were perfect for each other. Ken wasn't the kind of brother that you wanted. The last thing that he did before going MIA was steal $50,000. Not again. Melanie, are you home? Oh, it's Helen. I'm so glad. Melanie, you look upset. Is everything all right? It's a long story. Come on in. Yes, thanks. I was relieved to see Helen. We were colleagues at work and also good friends. She was a great listener and she even brought over some cake. Let's first talk about work and get that out of the way. No, your personal life first. That's way more important. Tell me what happened. Well, it's about my estranged brother. I told Helen about how my brother had showed up at my door demanding that he get all of my grandparents' inheritance. What a nightmare, you poor thing. That makes no sense. I agree with you there. You can't let them get away with this. It's not fair to you or your grandparents. They shouldn't be able to just take what's rightfully yours. If you let them bully you this time, they'll keep doing it. That's a very good point. I'm glad that I talked to you about this. Thank you so much for listening. You should get that. Thanks, I'll be quick. Hello, this is Melanie speaking.
This is Aaron.
Aaron seemed to be in a bad mood. He was one of the people that rented out the parking space in my parking lot. He was in his early 30s and had a successful career as a real estate agent. He was very wealthy and a little intimidating if you ask me.
I heard that you're closing down the parking lot that I'm currently using. What's this all about and why am I hearing about it from someone else? I have a 3-year contract with you and it's only been a year and a half.
Well, about that, I briefly mentioned it to one of your colleagues, but I explained to Aaron the complexity of the issues I was facing with my family.
Oh, that's one ugly mess you have on your hands. I don't think that your family can do this to you.
I agree with you.
Let me help you out since this is an issue concerning me as well.
That would be amazing. Thanks so much, Aaron.
You shouldn't let them boss you around like this. They have no right to do that. Don't be the loser that they think you are.
I suppose you're right, but I don't know how I'm going to get them to give this up.
Hey, don't cry now. We'll figure this out together, okay?
Why are you so kind, Aaron?
Well, when I was younger, I was a bit of a juvenile, and your grandmother saved me.
I had no idea.
So I owe it to your grandmother to help you out. Sound good?
Yes, I could really use your help. Keep going, Melanie. I'm on your side as well.
We won't forgive them!
Troublebusters!
Troublebusters! What do you want, Melanie? Don't go wasting our precious time.
Looks like you've finally come to the decision of handing over the property to us. Hand over the deed, Melanie. We don't have all day. We've already hired the contractors to start building our new home. Sure, have it your way. But did you know that the property is... Yay! She said yes! I'm so looking forward to our new home.
A brand new home with a beautiful garden. What a dream come true! I knew that you'd give it in the end.
I took the liberty of making all the arrangements. Construction starts tomorrow. Why would you do that? I already took care of it. Explain it to us. This is Aaron. He currently rents out one of the parking spaces in the parking lot.
Who the hell is this and what does he have to do with anything? Ooh.
I let Aaron know that we were closing down the parking lot and asked him to terminate his contract with me. He was not happy about this.
That's right. I had a 3-year contract with Melanie and you went and screwed that up. Well, you should have consulted with us first before going ahead and doing something so selfish. We didn't know that you had a contract with Melanie, but the property belongs to Ken, so he has every right to build a house on it, no?
You're not making any sense, old man. You can't ignore existing contracts and do whatever you want. Don't call my husband an old man. You're not so young yourself, lady.
Calm down, you barbarians!
Melanie, your brother and his in-laws are crazy people.
Well, if they go ahead and build the house without our permission, it makes it easier for them to try to make their case. That's why I recommended that Melanie build a house of her own before you get around to it.
Hey, you had no right to do that. What if Melanie builds her house? You won't be able to use your parking space anymore.
I don't care about that. I owe Melanie's late grandmother a favor, and I'm doing this for her. What's the point of doing a favor to someone who's no longer alive? She was like family to me. Melanie's her granddaughter, and I'll do everything I can to protect her. You're not making much sense to me. You don't deserve to live in a brand new house. A shack'll do.
What the hell is your problem, you pompous ass?
The property that you're trying to steal belongs to Melanie. She's even paying taxes on the property.
So what? Ken's her big brother. He can use the property if he wants to.
No, he can't. It belongs to Melanie, and she can do as she likes.
Why was Melanie the sole inheritor of the property? Ken was their grandson too. That's not fair.
So you're saying that grandchildren should be treated equally?
That's right.
Well, if that's your argument, we need to talk about something else first.
What are you talking about?
Melanie took care of her grandparents when they became old and sick. Where was Ken when they needed him the most?
Well,
Melanie visited her grandmother in the hospital every chance that she had. When her grandparents died, she took care of the funeral arrangements on her own. Isn't that why her grandparents left their inheritance to her and not Ken?
Ugh. Sorry to interrupt, but...
No probs. You should say everything that's on your mind. No need to hold back.
Thank you. There's one thing I want to make clear to everyone.
What is it, Melanie?
I know that you stole $50,000 from our grandparents. What? How could you?
I didn't steal the money. I just borrowed it for some time.
You should have asked for their permission before doing that.
I was waiting for the right opportunity to tell them, but I never got around to it.
Well, you could have tried to pay them back. This was over a decade ago.
I've been busy and had other things on my mind. I forgot.
That's so selfish of you. $50,000 is a lot of money. It's not something that you forgot about.
That's not what I meant.
You only care about yourself.
What does it matter to you? It's all in the past.
In the past, you don't seem to understand how hard our grandparents worked to provide for us. You can't go and waste their precious money like that.
50,000 isn't that much.
Well, if you're so rich, why don't you buy your own property and build a house there? Regardless of the reason, it's wrong to steal. Even if you say that you were borrowing the money from your family, you didn't ask for their permission nor bothered to pay them back.
You're not a part of this family. Stop criticizing me.
You're such an idiot. Since you were already 18 at the time, you wouldn't get protection as a minor either.
We're talking about something that happened 13 years ago. I'm not guilty anymore.
Ken's right. If over 7 years has passed, that person is no longer guilty. Don't make him feel bad for something that he did when he was 18. He was still immature.
Thanks, Mia. I knew that I could count on you. You're both such losers. You just don't get it, do you? You're right in that, after 7 years, someone who committed theft can no longer be charged. But this is just regarding criminal penalty.
What do you mean?
In civil law, the offender is responsible for a period of 3 years after the crime has come to light. In cases where the details are unknown, the crime is punishable for a period of 20 years. What does that mean for me? My grandparents knew that I took the money and needn't do anything about it, so my case applies to the first rule that you just explained.
Ken, don't you know their grandparents believed that you'd pay them back till the moment they died? That's why they never reported this to the police. They didn't want to accuse you of stealing. Especially because they didn't have any evidence, and more importantly, they didn't want to hurt your feelings. But now you have confessed to the crime. I'm going to make sure that you get the punishment that you deserve.
Hold on a second, Melanie.
What is it?
I thought that Japanese law states that even if you take money from your family, it isn't a crime, am I right?
I saw someone say on the television as well. What the hell are you talking about? Stealing is stealing. It doesn't matter who the victim is.
Actually, what they're saying is true.
What? And I don't have a case against my brother? So people can steal from their families and get away with it? That's absurd.
This rule applies to immediate family and family members living under the same roof. Seems that they got past that loophole. We can't seek criminal penalty, but we can still sue you and ask for a civil penalty.
This is way too complicated. So Ken won't be punished by the police, but he might still have to pay the money for his crime?
We don't need to listen to him. He doesn't know what he's talking about.
You can't fool us with your words.
Believe what you want, but I know what I'm talking about. You do know the difference between criminal and civil law, right? If you're punished under criminal law, you get a criminal record afterward. Even if the punishment is small, like $500, it'll be recorded. In civil law, even if someone is ordered to pay $1 million, they don't get a criminal record. But they need to keep their promise and pay the money. Otherwise, their assets and money will be seized.
Does this mean that either way we're screwed?
Yes, you finally get it. Melanie and Ken's grandparents are deceased, but Melanie can act as their legal representative and sue Ken.
This can't be happening.
Well, it is, and you need to face reality. I have a headache. I work with lawyers on a frequent basis due to my job. I can introduce a good lawyer to Melanie. She'll win the case against you for sure. So be prepared to be served. Let me also add that I have a lot of friends that are willing to roughen you up if you don't pay up. Melanie, I'm really sorry about this. Will you be willing to forgive me?
It's too late to apologize to me, Ken. I've forgiven you for stealing cash from my wallet, but the amount you stole from our grandparents is much bigger.
Oh, you knew about that? I don't know what I was thinking.
Well, you certainly need to make some time for self-reflection, huh? I also can't forgive you for coming to see me after over a decade and trying to steal my property.
I see how selfish I was. I'm so sorry.
How could you do this to our grandparents? They raised us with love after our parents died. I can't believe that you would repay them in this horrible way. I'm not going to forgive you for what you did to them.
Melanie, please! I was stupid! I'm gonna change! You had to believe me! I'm your brother!
I don't consider you to be my brother. You were never around when I needed you. I won't rest until you've paid back what you stole.
I don't have anybody!
Well, let's get as many jobs as you need and start saving up.
Mia, what are we gonna do now?
This is all your fault. It's not my problem.
Please don't leave me to suffer alone!
You're completely useless, Ken.
I can't allow you to stay married to me after all the trouble you've caused us. Somebody please help me! No one's gonna help you, Ken. You're You're on your own.
Go to hell, Ken. You need to take responsibility for what you did. I won't be fooled by your tears. Just to let you know, I've decided to create a new office space for my colleagues on the property that our grandparents left me. Why did I marry such a loser? This sucks. I was so looking forward to living in our new home.
Why is this happening to us?
Ken and his family now owe me a total of $100,000. The four of them share a small apartment, and I imagine that they fight about money every day. Ken took on multiple jobs to pay me the money that he owed me. He's having a tough time because he's not very good at his jobs, and he gets yelled at by his co-workers. Over time, Ken paid back all the money to me. My new office space was also finished, and I was feeling happy again. I'm going to put the bad memories of my brother behind me and work hard to make some marvelous comic books. I'm so grateful to Helen and my friends as well as my grandparents who are probably watching over me from heaven. Troublebusters.